Sing clap, 3, 2. Oh, that went wrong. I misfired. Ow. Oh, it was a total misfire. My angle's all wrong. I'd have dislocated my shoulder if I'd done it properly. All right, what's the best place you've ever been, beginning with W?
Wales.
I like Wales.
Winchester.
What is your favourite animal from Africa?
Beginning with?
Beginning with Z.
It's a zebra, that's easy. I spy my little eye something beginning with Y.
You've stumped me there, Richard.
Good. It was youth. My youth fading away. What's the fourth car you owned?
The fourth car I owned. The fourth car I owned was the DRIVETRIBE Ford Mondeo ST200. What was the seventh car you owned?
It was Mark II VW Scirocco GTS. Absolutely lovely until I blew the big end on it.
Didn't we see one of those when we were picking up your XJR that you're driving right now?
We totally and actually did, yes. Oh, Scirocco down there.
I was going to say that Scirocco. Didn't you have one of them back in the day?
I did, a black one. And I miss it.
Did you write it off?
No, it wrote itself off. It lunged its bottom end. It completely destroyed its big end. I did actually do car boot sales, sold all of my childhood possessions to scratch together enough money to repair it, but then I over-torqued it when tightening the main bearings and bloody nearly shot myself.
Incredibly well justified, Richard. Well done.
One elephant-sized ant or a million ant-sized elephants? Which would you rather?
Elephant-sized ant reminds me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and that always freaked me out when I was younger. So I'm going to go with the ant-sized elephants. Although I don't want to squish little elephants. That's horrendous.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I think ants are quite destructive in the way that elephants aren't they? I mean, you know, like an elephant-sized ant, that could bite stuff.
So Richard, you said you've been doing this journey since you were 17. Can you bookend the vehicles that you've done it in? What were the first couple? And then I guess you've got your Jag now. What's been the coolest thing you've had down this route?
Oh God, pretty much everything I've ever owned I've come up here in at some point or other. From my Toyota Corolla liftback, 1976, there's one in the Blues Brothers. That was my first car. I came up here in that. I couldn't believe it made it. Then there was my Renault Traffic company van. I had two halves of a Mark III Escort welded together to make one. That made it up here. An Opel Manta Berlinetta GTE made it up in that. The word from Tom here is there's plenty there. He's bored of us being bored, so probably we should stop being bored before we become boring.
Yeah, you know, when I thought, oh, I'm going on a road trip with Richard Hammond, it'd be, you know, pedal to the metal, real adrenaline. So far, it's, you know, cruising about, nice sort of flowing water, some chirping birds, and the frustrations of a middle-aged man having to change his tyre.
Oh, mind the shoe.
I feel like at some point you're just going to scuff the hell out of my trainers.
I was honestly tempted. I once did that to Wilman, like this. It was not a dissimilar moment.
Right.
I was changing a wheel, he was sitting there, and I trod on his foot for a laugh, not realising he'd had a brief bout of gout.
Oh, God.
I've never heard a scream
That
like
sounds
it.
painful.
Oh, he practically wept. I felt awful. I laughed a lot, but I felt bad. Right.
Oh, that fits in really nice. When you're on the Grand Tour and stuff, do you normally have a crew that would come and do this for you, like sort of backup, you know?
We've got a crew, obviously, because what we can't afford to do is for the whole thing to be off. But if it's a tyre change, we probably will end up doing it because it's funny.
Yes.
And
like this.
Yeah, just like this. Right, let's give that a bit of elevation. It's funny, isn't it? People go on and on about railways. They make TV shows about, oh, I'm going on such and such a train from wherever, and they all get excited. But railways are only, I don't know, what, a couple of 100 years old? Not that even. Roads have often been here for thousands of roads. They were trodden in by bare feet in some instances to connect direct human needs for companionship, resources, to go to war, whatever else. They are our history writ large across the globe. They are us. Roads tell our story. Not this one, obviously it's Mike's choice. I don't know what it's going to tell a story of. Iron brew and bagpipes.
Would you agree that most motoring journalists are massively lazy and just end up going to Wales when they really should be coming up here?
They are quite Welsh focused, aren't they? I think that might be because it's nearer and occasionally it doesn't rain. I mean, only very occasionally.
It's always, oh, let's do our car of the year test. Let's go to the Brecon Beacons when the Highlands would be so much better.
Yes, but they're often thousands of miles away from where you're starting off.
How are those iron brews going down?
Oh, I've nearly finished. Lying. I haven't touched one. I mean, I haven't drunk them all. I haven't drunk any of them. No offence. This is almost a cartoon road. It is a cartoon level of twists, turns, undulations, crests, dips. But because a road like this will have evolved in the most efficient way possible to move from one bit to another without knocking things down and blowing up rocks, it works with the landscape.
We're now currently stuck behind an MG ZS, and my cameraman has just lovingly told me that if the car was still black, I'd maybe be let through. That's a bit mean, isn't it?
It's a joyful road, isn't it? You say camber and yump. It is. It's got shape. It's sinuous.
Yeah, and it's a really good test of a car's chassis just to get motoring journalists with it, because it really flexes it over some of the bumps.
If it's going to twist or flex anywhere, it will do it here, because the front and back ends are encountering different things simultaneously. Tom's had enough and has basically said, I think in-car wise, that's brilliant, which means shut up now, lads, I've got to watch all this shit in the edit.
Perfect timing, because we've reached our roundabout, so we're just going to head straight back.
Professionalism.